Welcome back, it's Paul Maglev here, and you are currently seeing my, user interface. I'm gonna see if I can go over to just this. There we go. And today we're gonna play a new game, another train game called Steam Train. It's free, it's available online for you to download right now, and it kinda goes like this. Version 5.0. We've got 3 different modes. We've got our setup mode, which lets us customize and make our own train to do whatever the hell we want. There's dispatcher mode, which is a challenging mode that I'm going to show you. And then there's the mail train, where basically you just have to deposit mail at all the stations, heading from west to east. So we're gonna go over to dispatcher, because I loves me a challenge, but I don't like to lose. But I'm pretty sure I'll be able to handle it this time. Let's see. I've gotten enough practice with this one. This is one of those games that's a little bit more difficult, and you have to actually learn the controls over here. There's too many controls, to be quite honest, but that's okay with me. I could personally care less. At least it's not as many controls as Train Simulator. So anyway, let's get this party started. And I'm gonna have to turn the volume down because it is loud. Except I don't think this is working. Oh, right. I need to turn it down over here. I'll have to use some dynamic range compression when I edit this because some of the sound effects are a little weird. So it kind of goes like this. Our basic controls for forward and reverse are the left and right controls on our keyboard. Or should I say arrow keys. Our top and bottom arrow keys tell us which direction the switches are going to take us. So I've got it in the downward position, so we should head this way. I'm gonna slow down a little bit. And hopefully over here I should be able to just couple up and not have to worry about separating the cars I need from the cars I want. Well, at least that's what I first thought, but we're going to have to do a little bit of that, but not as much as we would have in other scenarios because all these cars are randomly generated. So we're going to, let's see, we're going to get a throttle up to 70 so we can speed things up. We're going to back ourselves up over into the other track section, use the space bar for our brake, and let's see. Yeah, that should do it. Oh, I forgot to set the bell. When they're shunting, I think we're supposed to have our bell on, if my memory's correct. It's not a perfect game, but it does actually get the job done pretty well. As soon as you actually understand all the controls, it becomes second nature, and you can basically just get away with just about anything that you want to do. Let's see. Gotta creep back a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I should use the mouse key, the left key to hook up all the other cars. And I should be on my merry way. Well, almost on my merry way. I'll have to go all the way over here, and then go all the way up to here to actually get car F, G, and H, which might take a while. But that is to be expected. So I'm going to take a look here, see if I've gone too fast. I think we should be able to coast all the way out of this area. And then we'll be able to stop and then back up and collect the other cars. Yep, that'll do it. Come on, faster. The momentum in this game is actually very accurate, I think, because it takes forever to speed up and it takes forever to slow down, like a real locomotive, and its assembly of cars. Gotta slow down again. I'm sorry I haven't actually posted anything lately, it's just I've been busy with homework and stuff as the semester wraps up. And it just makes me feel like I just haven't been committed enough to one or the other. Okay, we got that hooked up, we got that disconnected. We should be able to get the last few cars, and then we'll be on our merry way. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I've overlooked, because I always have a tendency to do that. Let's see, back it up. Just gotta ease it back, nice and steady. The speed is measured in miles per hour, I think, but I'm surprised that it's in the middle of a freight yard. We'd be able to go so fast. Okay, we hooked up, and we should be ready to go. What else was I thinking about as we depart from the first destination? First things first, as we get over to our final destination, I should let you know that some of the other controls are the S key for sand, W for the whistle, B for the bell, and are there any other controls I have overlooked? I can't think of any. There's the tab key, which lets me take a look at all the other locomotives. There are 3 on this map, including the robot one, which has the greatest amount of traction, I should say, for some strange reason. We're working with a 440 American type locomotive, so we've got the least amount of tractive force, which gives us an extra doubly challenge. But we won't have to worry too much so long as we're able to conserve on fuel and water and sand, and then we won't have to stop as often. Now, one of the few features of the dispatcher mode is that you can actually collect other rail cars, other than the red ones I have here in my train. And I think we're going a little too fast, so let's slow down. And we can basically deposit all of the railroad cars that we have coming up ahead over here. But I don't want to do that for this challenge because that would take a little too long. Let's see if we can slow down in time to actually get to the coaling station correctly. And we missed. But that's okay, because I actually have to inch a little bit more forward if I want my whole train to actually be in the siding correctly. Because there's another train coming and I don't want that robot to plow into me. For some reason it's not smart enough to actually get out of the way. It's pre-programmed to just go left and right across the map. It's not smart enough to yield to oncoming traffic. So we have no choice but to yield to it, because it's got the greatest speed and because it's got the greatest tractive force. One thing that I would really like to see in the next version is I'd like to see better control of the whistle, because as it currently stands, you can't really control it as well as you want. You can push the key down and you can get it to fire off for a little bit, but you can't control precisely how long you want it to go off. So I can push the key and then let go of it and it'll still keep blowing. And I don't want to do that. But that's okay. I really want to go down in this other direction through the tunnel, because it usually, on the most difficult setting, gets us into a mountainous range that's full of rain and snow, and I don't want to have to deal with that. That's one of the other things that we could have adjusted in the dispatcher mode with some of the extra features for extra challenge, but for some reason I haven't seen any bad weather that's going to give us problems with wheel slippage. And And I think we should be able to make it all the way through here. I'm not going to worry about anything in particular. I'm just going to keep plowing along. Warn civilians of my presence. Where's our next stop point where we can fuel up? Because I think I forgot to fuel up the previous point. But yeah, that's the other thing. I can scroll across to the other side of the train if I want to, and we're slipping. Gonna have to slow down a bit. I could waste sand, but at this rate I don't want to. I'll wait till we actually get to 3% gradients to actually resort to it. When we have the greatest amounts of trouble. One of the few things that I would also like to see in the future version of this game are unique tenders for each and every locomotive, because each locomotive has the same artwork, it's just recolored for some strange reason. Now I'm thinking I'm gonna stop over here because there's a coaling station right up here, and we should be able to resupply on coal and water as well as sand, but we didn't actually use any sand, so we don't have to worry about that. Easy, 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 yes! We gotta make sure that we get the water spout here to drop onto this little lid here, because that's where the water gets deposited. Otherwise it's not going to activate. So let's see, we've got almost 100%. We've almost reached full capacity. And I think we should be able to shove off. Hopefully we'll be able to get to the next sighting before we come into contact with the blue locomotive, because that is a very high likelihood. I'm just gonna pour sand because now I'm just desperate. And we aren't going fast enough, and I know that that other train is going at full speed. It's going 51 miles per hour, that's pretty damn fast. And something tells me it's gonna catch up to us really quickly. Especially on this 2% grade that we're up against. For some reason the other locomotive doesn't have the problem with the gradients. Oh, that's not a good sound. I didn't blow that whistle, that means he's coming. So we gotta go as fast as we can. Otherwise we're going to be in some deep trouble. And I don't want to be in deep trouble, because although you can fix a worst case scenario where you collide with another locomotive or you derail, I don't want to have to put up with it. But he's coming really fast. We should be able to make it over to the siding, and I forgot to take the bell and switch it off. But we'll need it for the siding, I'm assuming. I don't know the specifics about what it takes to actually operate a steam locomotive, but I do know that there are a few things that might actually be a little helpful or common sense. Oh, for some reason when I ring the bell, it rings the bell on all the trains. That's another thing I should note. I think that's just a glitch. So we've got our express train making its way across. We'll have to be extra doubly careful, but now we should be good to go. Now that the weather's cleared up, we should be able to just move forward without having to resort to sand. But I've got this strange feeling. Oh, it's 1600 hours, so it's going to set. The sun is going to set soon. Our lantern's going to turn on, and we should be able to move forward from there, but I might have to change the user interface a little bit so that it's a little brighter and you can actually see everything, because not everything is very specifically clear. But that's no big deal. We should be... No, we can't do 90% on the throttle up this gradient. Oh dear, we got a 3% grade. Deposit the sand! We must maintain speed! We must maintain speed! But I feel like we're just going to be stuck at 17 miles per hour at this rate, because I didn't think very, good. I had poor judgment on my part, but that's okay. Because this is, not going to be a big deal, and it's not the end of the world. Is there another station nearby? No, we've got a while before we get to the, next one. The auto camera should drag us back over to the train. I could deactivate it by pressing the A button if you're curious. I'll take the sand off because we're on a level surface. No, wait, we're going downhill at a 1% grade. What else was there? Personal updates. I actually got sick last week because there was, I either contracted it from who knows where, or this one guy who was coughing very vehemently on the light rail train on the way to school. I would have gotten out of his way, but I had my bicycle and I couldn't maneuver myself far enough away to actually deal with it. So I asked him to be careful about how he was coughing to cover it up and whatnot, but for some reason he didn't like that and he told me to fuck off. So, I guess next time around I'm not going to be making suggestions to strangers to make myself look like a douche. Well, it's getting dark. It's 1700 hours. Let's see. That should do it. Back it up. What else did I want to mention? I've basically recovered from the cold for the most part, but my nose is still a little runny. And I think I've also started my preparations for the holidays, which means pulling out some of the model trains in and around the house and putting them on display. And this year we're going to take an emphasis on HO scale because I really wanted to get this one thing in HO scale, but I just didn't have the budget for it. So instead I've gotten some other stuff that was sort of on the holiday wish list / birthday budget. And I got some Tyco turbo trains. Apparently back in the day, was it the 1970s or the 1980s? There was this series of sets. Series of model train sets that were based on slot cars, called the Tyco Turbo Train. There was the Turbo Express, the Turbo Train with Night Glow, and the Tyco Turbo Train with Daredevil Jump. And I shit you not, it actually does jump. It jumps the tracks and then it lands back on the tracks and it just keeps going. And it can also make a vertical loop and it can go straight up a wall like a real slot car. And I thought that was kind of interesting. It looked awesome. I thought about it for a few years, but I had other priorities on hand, and it is starting to snow. That is not good. I'll have to apply sand just as an extra cautionary measure. Oh dear. There's a train coming. Let's see if we can get into the siding before we get into trouble. We've got priority on the speed, or at least getting into the siding. I'm not entirely sure we'll be able to make it in time. The snow's getting thicker. Oh, this is gonna be a close one. We're not gonna make it! And we didn't make it. But in the event of a crash, we always have a plan B, and that is to push the enter key until both trains reset. I really didn't want to have to resort to this. It was really unprofessional on my part, but to be quite honest, I feel like the lighting system... Oh, I have to shift over here. Okay, so my locomotive is right here. We will go... No, we're going to go at 70% on the throttle. We're on a 3% gradient, which doesn't help. This is going to take a while. At this rate, I might as well just back up. Because we're going at 0 miles an hour against the 3% grade with our total mass trying to go down the hill because of gravital acceleration and... Oh shoot, this is gonna take longer than I thought. 1 mile per hour. 2 miles per hour. 3 miles per hour. I should have been extra careful because this section of the map is always the most difficult. It looks like the other train's finally gonna go. I was worried it would get stuck there for several minutes. No, we can't go 100% on the throttle yet. But we are stuck. We are so stuck. But luckily after this tunnel we should be able to go on a downward slope once we reach the summit. But yeah, I apologize for the lack of professionalism. I really wanted to demonstrate my understanding and prowess at this game, and I wound up just crashing anyway. Just like I used to when I first started playing this game last week. Let's see, 2% gradient. I'm gonna slow down a little bit because I don't think we'll be able to go fast enough. Are we able to make it to the 60th percentile on the throttle? Am I gonna risk going on to the 70th percentile? I really don't want to risk it. But we just gotta keep going because we've already reached the summit. And everything should be fine and dandy from there. What else was there? Oh, yeah, we're already here. So from here we should reach a 0% grade, and then we should be able to go down the hill some more to get to a negative 3% grade, and that'll basically allow us to coast all the way into the station on the other side. Am I gonna risk it? No, I can't. Still can't do 70%. Just gotta keep going. Just gotta keep going. What else was there? Because we practically just wrapped up this game so far. Is there any other controls I should mention? What does M do? No, that's not it. Was it N? No, it was another button that... Oh, it's the H button for help. If you needed some advice on the controls and whatnot. So we should be able to go down the hill fairly quickly at this rate. and then we should be able to pull into the station fairly smoothly. I'm amazed we're going at such a steady clip down the hill, considering we're plowing through so much snow. And it's a good thing too, because it also serves as a secondary brake. Let's see. Gonna apply the brakes, and we should be able to coast into the station. And there we are. Right up to the docks, ready to drop off the passengers onto the steamboat. And the snow's cleared up, which is also good. It just magically disappeared for some reason. And there we go! We've arrived. Uncouple the lettered cars. We did it! We just had to screw up in the process. Am I still recording? Oh yeah, I'm still recording. I was a little worried there. I had to readjust my screen so it wouldn't change the resolution on me, so the recording software I use doesn't freak out, and then I'd have to start over again. But anyway, that is Steam Train version 5.0. I'll put a link in the description below. You can go and check it out yourself, see how well you can do against the hillsides. And I will see you all in the next video. I will... what was I going to say? Anyway, take care everyone, don't give up, and remember, to take it easy and stay awesome. Bye!